Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and don't forget to subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you guys for joining me today. So I'm going to be talking about my international student experience, how that was like for me, how challenging or how easy it was. Basically being an international student during a pandemic. Also, I will be doing a little review on the college that I went to. If you are interested, if you're looking to come to Canada as a student, and you're probably looking for schools to go to, I'm just going to give you a little rundown of the school that I went to, the pros, the cons, all of that stuff. So if you are interested in this video, just stay tuned and keep on watching. Okay guys, so this is probably going to be a short video because my experience, I feel like, was unlike normal students' experiences. So I actually started school in May of 2020 and I finished in December of 2020. So the program that I did is on paper technically 1 year, but because we have no breaks, it only lasts for 8 months. So because of the pandemic, what had happened was I actually ended up doing half of my studies back home in Jamaica, and everything was online. So let me just start from the beginning in terms of how easy it was to apply to school and everything. As a matter of fact, I'll talk about that part in the college review. So for right now, in terms of how it was for me as a student back home, it was obviously something that I've never done before. I've never done online schooling before, so it was very, very different. I was very nervous about it because I was going to be doing school basically in another country, even though I wasn't physically there. The curriculum and everything was a Canadian curriculum, something that I was not familiar with. And I also had concerns about, having access to the teachers and tutors and all of that thing, all of those things. So I was very concerned. However, I felt like the kind of onboarding process was fine. All the classes were conducted via Zoom. They had a lot of online platforms where you can go to see your assignments and notes and stuff like that from your teachers. So in terms of registration and such, it wasn't difficult. So yeah, that part of it was pretty, standard. So in terms of my experience as a student, like I said, it's going to be like, I don't have a lot to say because everything was online. So I initially never met any of my classmates. I met 3 girls that I spoke to and we got along really well, that are like my friends now. I met them after I came here, but apart from that, I didn't meet anyone. One major concern I had was the makeup of the class. I realized that the entire population of my class, 90% of the population of my class, they were Indians, which was a little bit concerning for me, because I thought, I'm coming to Canada, I'm going to get kind of like this multicultural, sort of experience where I'm going to get to meet a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds, when most of the people were Indians. So, I mean, I don't have anything against Indians. One of the girls that are my friends now from the program, she's an Indian as well. But it would have been nice to be able to, meet other people from the Caribbean or other countries as well. So it was it was challenging because, I wasn't able to go anywhere, do anything. In terms of school, there were no libraries, because everything is online. And then when I came here, it was just get up every morning, 8 o'clock, depending on what time the class was, logging for the Zoom, and you sat for 3 hours. The classes were 6 hours for the day. So one class would be 3 hours straight, and then there'll be like a 15-minute break, and then the other class. So you're sitting basically for majority of the day just listening to somebody talk lecture. So it wasn't the best. I'm not fond of online learning, and if you're the type of person that needs that sort of visual stimulation and having somebody in front of you teaching is going to be really challenging. But I felt like it wasn't the hardest thing, and obviously it wasn't, because I finished and I did pretty well. So it was just the experience of being a new student in a new country that was taken away from me because of the pandemic. So I didn't get that sort of, camaraderie that you normally have when you're a new student, meeting new people, there's no orientation, no freshers week, no nothing, no activities. You didn't get any no school merchandise. I have nothing except the certificate to show that I went to the school, basically. So that was a bit disappointing. So all in all, that was my experience. Everything was online, and yeah, there wasn't much of an experience. There was really not much of an experience, and it was disappointing. But there were benefits to it being completely online. I saved a lot of money on transportation, and when it started to get cold and winter came around, I didn't have to think about, having to go back and forth to school and all of that. So, it had its pros, but it was definitely not what I expected. So bear that in mind, because right now classes are still online. Even if you're applying to come to school for this year, it's online. And right now the Canadian government is actually allowing persons to complete 100% of their studies in their home country and still be eligible for the postgraduate work permit. So think about that. Think about if that is something that you are interested in, and yeah. So now on to the college that I went to. So the college that I went to was Canadore College. At first, I had applied to Humber College. I'd gotten in, and then I changed my mind because I wanted to go to a school that the school fee was less, so that I could save a little bit more money. And when I initially applied, so let's talk about the application process. When I initially applied to Canadore College, as an international student, you can't actually apply online. You have to apply through an agent that works for them. So you submit the application through that agent. And the agent that I dealt with, she was relatively responsive. I don't think she was the best agent, but she did do what she needed to do to get me the acceptance and everything. And I also got a $1,000 scholarship just for being Jamaican each semester. So that was really good. That was another factor why I decided to choose that school, because the main reason actually was because of the money. So the school fee was cheap in itself. It was like 13,000 something overall for both semesters, and then I had gotten a $1,000 scholarship for both semesters, each semester. So it was pretty affordable, but you get what you pay for, right? If you want to go to a school that is just like the best in catering to their students, they really care about the students and the students' well-being and all of that, and you are actually interested in getting great quality education, actually learning something, do not, and I repeat, do not come to this school. If you're only interested in getting the 1-year postgraduate certificate so that you can get your post-graduation work permit, by all means come to this school. However, I actually wanted good quality education, and I thought that coming to Canada meant that I would get good quality education. That is not the case. But you live and you learn, and it's my responsibility to let you guys know what is out there, and so that you can make decisions, good decisions for yourself. So the pros of this school were that it was relatively cheap compared to other schools in the region, because Humber College was 16,000, I believe, and I didn't see them just giving scholarships like that. I mean, there were scholarships, I believe, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm giving you a scholarship just because you're Jamaican. So it was cheap. Also, in terms of the location, the physical location, even though it didn't matter in the end, it was in Scarborough. It is in Scarborough, so it's in the greater Toronto area. So you would be close to like the city and all of that. So I took that into consideration as well. Also, the way they designed their program is that you have 3 work days off. So my classes were on a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right? So they designed it in such a way that whatever program you're doing, you would have 3 full work days for if you want to work full time. So I was still able to work while I was back home full time. While I was obviously it wasn't full time, it was only 3 days, but it was majority of the work week. So they took into consideration that students wanted to do their 20 hours of international 20 hours of working as an international student, because that's the only amount that you get. So the amount that you are allowed to work rather. So they took that into consideration and made it very flexible for you to be able to do that. A lot of persons that I know that went to other schools, it was like impossible for them to work and to actually go to school, even though they are able to do the 20 hours. And that is something that you really want to consider, because if you're coming here and you have, a limited budget, you really do want to work. So going to a school that will give you the opportunity to work, enough time rather, that's a good plus as well. So those were the positives. Were there any other positives? To be honest, there are not a lot of positives about the school. The negatives, Jesus Christ. The negatives of the school. Communication. The communication was lacking. For the international campus of this school, it was literally run by Indians. When they did communicate with you in terms of responding to your emails, a lot of the emails were grammatically incorrect. I started to wonder if I applied to a school that was like a scam, because half of the emails them send, like, not grammatically correct. They don't respond in a timely manner to your emails if you have any queries or concerns. The actual location of the school for the international campus looks like crap. The North Bay campus looks like this, and the Stanford campus looks like this. So, and you might not see it on the picture, but it looked really bad. I've never actually gone inside, but I went there to see what it looked like, but it looked bad. So that's one of the cons. The demographic of the student population for the international campus specifically, pure Indian for kill. So if you're thinking about, interacting with other persons from other races, forget about it. I was like a token in my class because I was like the only person from Jamaica. There's one Brazilian girl, and then there's one girl that was from Egypt, and everybody else was Indian. So it was I got picked on all the time just because of the fact that I'm from Jamaica. They just said, "Oh, you're from Jamaica," and then every question directed at me. Also, the teachers. I'm not gonna lie, I had a few good teachers that were really, they were good at what they did, and you could tell that they were professionals and seasoned in their field. But let me tell you something. There's this one specific woman, she who shall not be named. I made a gif off of this woman. Never mind, but you know what? The worst teacher ever. Like, in the history of work, this woman was just horrible. All she did was come to class and talk about how she missing her husband from India. And she didn't know anything. Like, she was teaching courses and she didn't know nothing about the course. She'd be telling us to go and Google things. Like, it was horrible. It was a hot mess. In the end, I honestly, she stopped teaching just before we finished, and I think she got fired, which, that needed to happen. But that's how bad she was. Sometimes she would come to class and we'd be sitting there waiting for hours for her to come, and she not come. She not send no email, she not send no nothing. And then the next day she'd come like, "Oh, you know, I was sick or some stupid excuse. It was really, really bad. The courses itself, like I feel like I did a business management postgrad, and I feel like the courses were very good. I did 7 courses per semester, so that's about 14. I did about 14 or 15 courses, and I feel like the content was good in terms of a range of things that you could do. The only problem is that it's an 8-month course, so it's kind of like super intense, lots of assignments, and everything. Almost everything is group work. So if you don't know how to work in a group, or if you do not like to work in a group, you need to fix that, because whether it's this school or another school, group work is a thing here, right? And I never liked that, but the good thing was that I found the 3 girls to work with, so that we always try to be in a group with each other as long as we could choose. So that was that. But I think for the most part, those are the cons. And as you can see, I feel like the cons outweigh the pros. But at the end of the day, if your main focus is really just to get the post-graduation work permit so that you can get your extra points for express entry, then I feel like this is a pretty good school. If you're not too worried, you don't want nobody to stress you out about school and actually learning to do, like, you know, certain things, because they were very lenient when it came on to grading. Even when certain people didn't do their work, them still end up with a passing grade, and I really don't know how. But if you're not too caught up on that, then I feel like this is definitely a school that you should consider if you are looking to save some money, if you're looking to just get your certificates and get out of there. It's still recognized. It's just that the international campus itself is crap. And if I were to do it again, I would still go to this school. I would, because it was pretty easy, you know. And I think that maybe eventually in the future I will end up actually doing like a 2-year master's. I don't know when, but it would be at that point that I'm going to be very concerned about the quality of education that I get. So guys, that's just basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and hit that subscribe button down below, because we're trying to grow this family. And yeah guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye.